This tiny black box costs $7 with shipping included, and you can use it to control and automate dumb devices like older TVs, aircon units, speakers, ceiling fans, and more. So in this video, I'll explain exactly what this thing is, where you can pick one up, and how to set it up for yourself. Before I get into this, I want to quickly give credit to smarthomescene.com, which is where I originally found out about this device, so a link to that article will be in the description below. Let's start from the top. What exactly is this device? This is the Tuya ZS-06. It's a smart infrared remote, often referred to as an IR blaster. It runs on Zigbee and it controls virtually any infrared device in your home within a range of 30 feet or so. All you do is point a remote at it, press a button such as on or off to teach it that action, and after that you can trigger that same action without ever having to use the original remote again. If you're familiar with the Broadlink RM4 Mini, which is a popular IR blaster, the Tuya ZS-06 is an alternative to that. It does take a bit more work to set up initially, but considering the huge cost difference, it might just be worth that extra time investment, especially if you're picking up multiple units. So with that said, where can you actually buy the ZS-06? You can find it on Amazon, but you certainly won't find it for anywhere near $7. And if you're having to pay double or even triple that amount, you may as well just stretch a little bit more and get the Broadlink Mini. Instead, you'll want to head over to aliexpress.com and do a search for Tuya ZS-06. You can take your pick from one of the many listings, or you can use my link in the description below. This one, for example, has sold hundreds of units and it costs $4.48 plus $1.99 for shipping, so actually even less than $7 in total. And yes, it will be sent from China and you will have to wait a while for it to be delivered. 3 to 4 weeks is not uncommon, but again, the savings might just be worth the extra wait, especially if you're planning to put one of these in every room of your house, because infrared cannot penetrate walls. Now, a quick thing to watch out for, there is a similar version called the UFO R11, and it looks to be identical in every way except that it runs on batteries. If you prefer a wireless version, this might be a better option for you, but do note it won't act as a repeater, so it won't extend the range of your Zigbee mesh network. I have the wired version, the ZS-06, so I can only speak to the reliability of that one, and it's what I'll be using throughout this video. Now let's touch on hub requirements, because like I said, this runs on Zigbee, not Wi-Fi, which means you will need to use it with some kind of hub. Since this is a Tuya device, you would typically pair it with a Tuya Zigbee gateway and control it with the Tuya Smart Life app. So if you don't have a universal hub like Home Assistant and you're happy to go this route, by all means, go ahead and pick up a Tuya Zigbee gateway. This will set you back about $15 to $20, but you will be able to add multiple IR blasters to it, and in theory, other Tuya devices. But be aware the IR blaster only works with specific models of Zigbee gateway, and it seems to be the wired version that doesn't have Bluetooth included. The listing doesn't specify any one model, so I'm hesitant to recommend one. For this video, I'm going to sidestep all of that drama by using Home Assistant with a Zigbee dongle. This removes the need for the Tuya gateway and the Tuya Smart Life app, and it allows you to use the IR blaster inside of Home Assistant along with Home Assistant's powerful automations. If you like the idea of experimenting with obscure devices like this one, and you haven't made the leap to Home Assistant yet, I have a video on screen now that will walk you through the setup process step by step. You will have to spend a bit more money up front to get it going, but you won't have to buy any more proprietary hubs, and it will work with virtually any smart device you throw at it. Okay, let's get into the actual setup process. First of all, if you're using the default Zigbee integration inside Home Assistant called ZHA, I recommend switching over to Zigbee to MQTT. Terrible name, but it supports a much broader range of devices, including the IR blaster we're going to be using. It's also widely considered to be a significant upgrade over the default integration, so I'll link you a video on how to do that in the description. Keep in mind you will have to repair all of your Zigbee devices after making this switch, So if that's a deal breaker for you, you can use this with ZHA, but you will need to use a custom quirk. This basically extends the functionality of ZHA to work with this particular IR blaster. I'll link to more information regarding that process in the description, but I won't be covering it in this video. Now, if you're already using Zigbee to MQTT, then you don't need to worry about any of that, and we can go ahead and add the IR blaster to Home Assistant. Start by heading over to Zigbee to MQTT in your sidebar. Make sure you're on the devices page, and at the top of your screen, click permit to join. This will give you 5 minutes to put the IR blaster into pairing mode, which is easy enough to do by holding the button on the bottom of the device until you see the light flash. Once it shows up in your devices list, go ahead and click on it. From here, you'll want to rename it by clicking the blue button down here, and I'll just call mine IR Blaster. Be sure to check this toggle when renaming in order to update the Home Assistant entity ID at the same time. Now, if you go to Settings, Devices, and Devices again, you should be able to find your IR Blaster correctly added to Home Assistant. Now, like any infrared remote, this thing needs to learn the IR codes for each of your infrared devices, and more specifically, each individual action for those devices. Typically, you would use an app to choose from a list of various manufacturers, and it would pull in the relevant IR codes for you. We don't have that luxury here, so you will need to manually feed it the codes, but it isn't all that difficult, and it allows you to add practically any IR device you want, no matter how obscure. Head back over to Zigbee to MQTT from your sidebar, make sure you're on the devices page, and click into the IR Blaster. Now go to the Exposes tab to see the device attributes, and this is where you can start figuring out your IR codes. All you need to do is click the word on, and keep in mind you have to do this for each new code. Then take the standard remote for whatever device you want to teach it, point it at the IR Blaster, and press whatever button you want to record. In this case, I'm starting with the power button so I can turn on my aircon. If done correctly, you should see a long string of letters and numbers, which is the IR code for that particular action. If you copy the whole string, you can paste it into the box below to test the code. For some reason, it doesn't trigger until you click off of this field, but if you click anywhere else on the page, you should see your device respond as if you were controlling it with the standard remote. And you can test this multiple times by clicking in the field and then clicking off of it again. Once you've verified that it works, you'll want to paste this code in your notes somewhere, along with what device it's for and what action it represents. Repeat this process for all the infrared devices and actions you want to use, because we'll need this information for the next step. Now that you have all of your IR codes to hand, it's time to add them to Home Assistant so we can trigger them on demand and use them in automations. There are a few ways to do this, such as using template switches or input booleans, but I'm just going to keep this really simple using scripts, which you can create within Home Assistant's interface without having to write any YAML code. Just go to Settings, Automations and Scenes, then go to the Scripts tab. As you can see, I've already created some scripts for my TV, but let's go ahead and add some new ones for my aircon. Click Add Script, Create New Script. The name should be the device and the action so you can easily reference it later. In this case, I'll do aircon on. I'll set the icon to power on, then click Add Action, set the service to MQTT Publish, the topic to Zigbee to MQTT / the name of your IR Blaster. In this case, I've just called it IR Blaster /set, and make sure again that that name is exactly as you wrote it before. If this is even slightly different, it will not work. Check the payload box and write exactly what you see here. I'll also have this in the video description if that's easier. Now from your notes, paste in your IR code right between the final set of quotes. Then set the quality of service to 0 and save the script. Now, if you click the 3 dots in the corner, you can run the script to make sure it's working as expected. You will need to make a script for every individual action, but you can speed this up by duplicating the script you just created. Now I'll give this a name, change the icon to power off, swap out the IR code, and hit save once more. Now just repeat this process as many times as you need. Once you have all your scripts in place, it's time to add them to the Home Assistant dashboard, so you can trigger them like you would any other smart device. Go to your overview, click the 3 dots, edit dashboard, then click add card. We're going to add an entity card, give it the title Aircon, remove all of these default entities, and start adding each of the scripts we just created. You'll see a real-time preview of the card as we add these in, and once you're done, just click save, and you should now have buttons directly on your dashboard that allow you to trigger those infrared devices with a single click. If you want to use these scripts inside of automations, that's easily done as well. Just go to Settings, Automations and Scenes, and create a new automation. Set your trigger and condition if you want one, and then add a new action. From here, you simply search for your script and pull it directly into your automation. And you can even add multiple scripts if you want to control more than one infrared device. And there you have it. I know there was some work involved there, but if you have any questions about this process or any smart home related questions at all, please drop them below and I will do my best to help. Otherwise, check out my other videos on screen now. I plan to create a lot more content around Home Assistant, so if you're using this platform or you just plan to in the future, stick around because I've got some good stuff in the works. Either way, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.